2025 EIB handbook. I think it's dated April 21st or something like that. If you do not have it, I will personally send it to you, so speak up. Everyone has it?
Is it digital or
Digital. That's funding. That's what everyone gets, the digital version.
This is not good.
If you don't have it, tell me, I'll give it to you. All right, so everyone has it, or will have it. So with that, since everyone has the book, on test day, no one's gonna come up to us and say, you didn't know, right? Because you have all the information at your fingertips. All right, so I just took away that protest from you guys. All right, so with that, I am not gonna read every single step on how to camouflage yourself. Sergeant Cox here will go through that here with our model, as well as that with the hand and arm signals. On this board, you guys will see it when you guys disperse, so don't worry about it right now. There's 20 graphic training aids of every single hand and arm signal that you can be tested on. Each one of those graphic training aids has a clear, concise, descriptive description on exactly how to do every single hand and arm signal. So that relinquishes my responsibility to show you every single hand and arm signal. The EIB candidate uniform. Part of the uniform is a sling. Some of those hand arm signals require both hands and arms. So if you do not have a sling, at no point does it say set your rifle down. All right, do you guys understand what that means? So if you don't have a sling, you will be a no-go for hand arm signals. Also with the uniform, for this lane, well actually all of EIB only issued taps and flicks. But specifically for this lane, the Army issued taps and flicks. If you have an aftermarket harness for that tap or flick, that will not be used in this lane. You will use your tap or flick exactly the way it came from and intended to be used by the U.S. Army. Does that make sense? So no highly strategic H harnesses or anything like that. You will use the original harness just for this lane. You can put it on after. Face paint. We have face paint for testing, for test days. That's it. If you guys read the station requirements, I am not required to give you face paint. So on test day, if I run out of face paint, and you go into the test tent, and you do not have face paint, you are not able to complete the task, and that'll be a no-go. All right, so also with train up, we are keeping our face paint in reserve for test week. Right, so if you guys don't have face paint for train up, ask a battle buddy or get some, because for you to train for this lane, that's up to you to bring that face paint. For this lane as well, if you notice like Claymore or these other lanes, there's part 1, part 2 of certain tests. This test has 2 sections. It's one test. So if you make it all the way through camouflage and you fail the 15th hand and arm signal, you will wipe off the face paint and start from square one as a retest. Is that clear? All right, so also with that, this test is 16 individual tests, right? Hand and arm signals and face paint. There's no other lane in patrol that has 16 individual tests. So this is one of those lanes that no one likes to do. They think it's easy. There's 16 points of failure here, so keep that in mind. So with that, I'm going to go over the tasks and standards, and then Sergeant Cox will go through the camouflage portion. Task: subtly employ realistic camouflage that resembles the background to your skin, uniform, weapon, and equipment. Demonstrate visual signaling techniques. Condition: you are a member of a team preparing to establish an ambush position in a non-Seaburn environment. You are in a patrol base preparing to move to the objective rally point. Enemy presence is suspected. Standard: correctly apply camouflage within 10 minutes or less. Correctly demonstrate each of the 15 hand and arm signaling techniques within 10 seconds of receiving the prompt. Okay, for the standard, for camouflage, you have 10 minutes. For each hand and arm signal, you have 10 seconds. Does everyone understand?
No.
Raise your hand if you're going to ask me as soon as I'm done what the time requirements are. Someone's going to ask. Okay, so with that, like I said, there's 20 hand and arm signals on the board. If they are not on this board right now, as you see it, you will not be tested on it. In the book, there are different hand and arm signals than what's on this board. Again, if you read the station requirements, I'm allowed to do that. So if they're not on the board, you won't be tested on it. So I highly recommend you guys take a picture of each and every hand and arm signal with the description clearly visible. All right. So any of those 15, I can quiz you on. For testing conditions, the test will work. You'll do camouflage first. Your table will look like this: burlap, tape, and if I have face paint, it will be on the table. I'll read you task manager standards. 3, 2, 1, 0. You'll begin from 1 second to 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Whatever you need to take off to camouflage, you can do that. It's just when you tell me you're done, you will be in the uniform, right? So if you tell me you're done and your helmet's off, are you camouflaged?
No.
Okay. So before people ask me the question of what can I take off to camouflage, whatever you need to take off. All right. And then the hand arm signal. So you get your go, not a go. You're not going to get a go for that. You will get a pass for camouflage. You'll move on to hand arm signals.
Here's some info about camouflage.
What you got? What you got? All right, so with that, so you'll move on to hand arm signals. You'll be given the prompt. Whatever hand arm signal that's on that board, I'll give you. Let's say disperse. I'll say disperse with my stopwatch. 3, 2, 1, begin. You have 10 seconds. In that 10 seconds, if you give me the wrong hand signal, that is fine, as long as you correct it before that 10 seconds is up. Everyone clear on how testing is going to go for camouflage and hand arm signals?
Oops.
Okay. All right, so with that, Sergeant Cox.
Okay, going to go over the standard for camouflage. We'll start with face paint. Your high points will be dark, your low points will be light. We understand that if your face paint does not have black, just use the next darkest, right? So if you only have like dark green and light green, use dark green for your high points and light green for your low points. So everybody's gonna start with a clear outline of your entire face, from hairline all the way down, the jawline, around the chin, all the way back up. Outline of the whole face. Your next high point, your eyebrows. You will do a black line from side through the eyebrows to the other side, connecting to that outline. Then from the eyebrow line, you'll go down to the nose, and then the nose you'll go out over the cheekbones. The cheekbones are the whole reason for that line. That's why we have that's the high point right there. So nose over the cheekbones, connecting to the outline. Everything else, lips, cheeks, eyes, will be green. The biggest thing we're looking for here is distinction between the two. I want somebody from back there to be able to see that his high points are dark and his low points are light. There will be no meshing of the two. There's no such thing as, hey, that's too black, that's too green. We've had a lot of people come up like toy soldiers, and they're always my favorite ones, okay? So that black outline on your face, that is a border line. Think of it as a border. Everything past it, your ears, your neck, back of the neck, any other skin showing will be green and black in an irregular pattern. An example of an irregular pattern is your OCPs. You can see multiple colors here. None of them are mixing together, and they're just randomly splashed on there, right? There's no pattern to it. There's no system. So, remember too, a lot of people have gloves. A lot of gloves have a little hole right here that exposes skin. It needs to be camouflaged if we can see it. A lot of gloves are kind of short. I saw one right there. They're pretty short. He has a lot of wrist showing right there. That wrist is going to need to be camouflaged, black and green. The uniform, it is specifically stated in the standards that you will not have an excessively faded uniform. If you look white, like a walking little white blob, that is not camouflage. That will be a no-go. Patches, the American flag, you will have a subdued flag, not a colored flag, not an IR flag. You'll have a subdued flag, and it is not acceptable for you to walk in with one of the wrong ones and to just take it off for the test. You will come in with a subdued flag. Okay, your pockets will be secured, and I suggest that you empty them completely because you'll be doing a jump test. No unnatural noises, nothing like this dangling around in your pocket, nothing falling out of the pockets, none of the pockets flapping around. That is to confirm, that's just another thing to confirm your camouflage, right? So empty your pockets with anything you don't need. Your phone, you do not need to bring it. You pretty much can't even bring it anyways, but wallet, dog tags, everything, get rid of it. Okay, we'll go to the equipment here. So 14 is the magic number for burlap. 1 on each side of the helmet. I'm gonna go down. 1 on each buckle here. 1 on the right, 1 in the middle, 1 on the left. That's 5 in total for the front of the tabs. You are not required to have a canteen pouch right here. I don't care what you put your burlap on. It just needs to be on the right, middle, and the left. But as a side note, you are required to have a canteen pouch somewhere on your tabs. Okay, turn around, please. Left, middle, right. Did you come
No,
in?
I didn't.
Okay, so this, if you have this exact taps, this is what it's going to look like. Triangle pattern, common sense locations. Okay? If you bought like any of these, like if you have something that's not Army issued, you will wear the Army issued one. If your Army issued harness does not look like this, that's okay. Just make it so it is still a triangular pattern in common sense locations. Okay? But again, you will not have anything that is not Army issued for this station. Okay? The Pro Mask is gonna have one right here. And then your last 3 will be on your M4. Back, middle, front. The key thing here is your middle cannot impede on your CCO or your ACOG. You still need to be able to see out of your sights. This cannot be over your front sight post. If you cannot aim at something, you cannot kill it. So it needs to be out of the way of your sights. The only other thing that your M4 needs is tape on the BFA. That is it. Tape on the BFA and the metal loop. These 3 pieces of burlap, nothing else. I understand a lot of arms rooms will put like colorful shit on the M4s to mark them, whatever. I don't care. 3 pieces of burlap, BFA on the tape on the BFA. So with tape, there's gonna be tape on any and all reflective, shiny, colorful like surfaces on your equipment. So buttons here, buckles, the base plate. You have screws on your helmets. Can you turn this side? Screws on your helmet. A lot of the ACHs, a lot of people put on like the helmet covers wrong and will have the screws sticking out. So a lot of people will mark their Pro Masks with like red, blue tape. I don't know if this is like a platoon internal thing or what. Take it off or cover it up. Any extra shit on your gear, like S clips. I saw one. A lot of people put watches here, or they'll just have the watches on. Take them off. You don't need them. There's just extra shit for you to cover or to worry about with the jump test. Just take it off. What else? Oh yeah, so a lot of people have camouflage on their helmet already. That is okay. You can have that to cover reflective surfaces. You cannot have that as an excuse to not do the burlap. You'll still do the burlap, okay? 2 on the helmet no matter what. 14 is the number. You can have 20, but it can still be wrong if you don't hit these key spots. So just remember 14. Okay.
All right, so for the, no, hold on, just say it to them. I might answer. All right, so for the face paints, right? If you don't have black, you're gonna use the darkest color. Then you're gonna use your lightest color. At no point is your lightest color white. At no point will you use white, even if it's snowing. Because unless you're wearing an Arctic uniform, white doesn't make sense. All right, so no white. Colors of the tape. You can pre-tape your stuff. We have some tape here you guys can use. And the tape colors, greens, browns, tans, multicam. Your tape will not be black. So if you already have black tape on your stuff, sorry, take it off or cover it up. The jump test, natural sounds, right? Obviously your feet are gonna make a sound when you hit the ground. If you're super old and your knees crunch, okay, we got it, right? Your Pro Mask is inherently gonna make a sound. But if the canister's off the side of the Pro Mask and that clinks around, that's different, right? That's an unnatural sound. And with the unnatural sounds, your wet weather tops. You guys are allowed to wear your wet weather top. But I'm gonna ask you a question. Is the metallic type sound that your wet weather top makes when it crunches, is that natural? So if you're gonna wear it, I would definitely practice wearing it and jumping so it doesn't make any sound, especially if your hood's out. It's gonna make a lot of sound. It's the whites. So things like the free, so what you're allowed to do prior to entering our test tent, tape, We highly encourage you guys to take the next 2 weeks to tape everything. If you think it needs tape, put a piece of tape on it. It can't hurt. All right. And like Sergeant Morgan said, you're allowed to downgrade your magazines. But I don't think it was stated to you guys. You guys are also allowed to download your Camelback. All right. So Camelbacks, magazines, stay in the holding area. You bring it into the test tent, you're getting graded with it. All right. So those are the 3 freebies: tape, Camelback, magazines. For some of you guys, that's not enough. You try to slime your way into certain things, right? So the common question is net gaiters, not allowed, not part of the candidate uniform. Beanies under the helmet. 1, it's not even like allowed in the Army. 2, it's not allowed in our tent. You're not going to use your beanie to cover your forehead and cover your ears. All right. For using your phones as a mirror, also not allowed, because if you look at the condition, we're about to do an ambush. That means we're in war. You're not going to have your phone. But with that, you're also not going to use an EUD, even though we use that shit in war. You're not going to use that. The only thing you're going to use to inspect yourself is a mirror, right? You can have more than 1 canister of face paint. You can bring your own mirror. But if you bring it into the tent and it wasn't provided to you, so if it's your own item, you will be graded with that item, right? So if you bring a little mirror and you put it in your flick and the edge of that mirror sticking out, there's nothing more reflected on this earth than a mirror, right? So just be cognizant of things like that. Did you go over the eye pro?
No.
Okay, so the eye pro, you're allowed to wear dark eye pro. We suggest you wear dark eye pro, but dark eye pro and the wet weather top. Wet weather top, right? You can zip it up to cover your neck. But some of you guys are on height profiles. And if you could use that to cover your neck because you don't want to paint it, I can see right down your collar and see that's unpainted skin, right? Same with the eye pro. You can't see past the eye pro, but if you jump and the eye pro slips down because your nose is slick because of the face paint, I see the inside of your eye socket not painted, you're a no-go. So what I tell you guys with the eye pro and the wet weather tops or the funky tops you guys want to wear to cover yourself up is use them as insurance. Do not use them to not do the entire task. Does everyone know what I mean on that?
Yep.
Right. So if you're gonna do it, just do it so that it's just extra protection, not to get away with something. Because there's really not a lot of room in this lane to get away with things. All right. So now, like before we start training or whatever, I got to give you like my badge to candidate talk, like my dad talk, right? This lane, if you do not practice the face paint aspect of this lane, you will fail. We're telling you that right now. That 10 minutes is not enough time. I'm going to say it one more time just to really bury it home. If you do not practice the face paint, you will fail. All right? So if you're going to practice, a common trend is just painting the face itself. Usually the face is not the failure point. It is the ears and the neck, especially the ears. So you guys need to practice that. And if you guys want to hide in the porta potty or go stand in line for 45 minutes, that's cool. But for those of you that are going to train, myself, Sergeant Cox, and Specialist Rodriguez, who's going to be in that tent, are here to help you guys today. And today only, if you guys ask us questions, we will give you the answer that you most likely want to hear, right? Starting next week is test-like conditions. You ask me a question, I'm either going to read you the task condition standards or I'm going to tell you something off of the requirements, right? That's not to be an asshole to you guys. That is to help you get prepared for the test week and help you actually find the answers on your own, because all the answers are here. All right, and that just goes for every lane. And with that, if you guys are going to train and you ask your battle buddy to inspect you, because this is what he did last year on Camouflage, but he's standing right next to you listening to my speech this year, is that the guy you should be asking? Negative, right? Because he's still a candidate. We are the graders. We are the ones grading you. And today, you guys really need to ask all the questions. Really, there's no stupid question. All right? So with that, you got anything else? You got a question?
I couldn't see, but is the back of his neck painted well? Like
It is, yep.
total back?
And
Yeah.
so this I did miss, thank you. If you have a high fade and your helmet is not covering your hair, if you can see your skin through that hair, paint it. You have to get in your hair. Everywhere where we can see skin will be camouflaged.
Any other questions?
So if you have like your sock covering your wrist.
I got you, sir. All right, so he's asking if the clothing underneath your OCP top covers all of your skin, do I have to paint it?
No.
Remember, exposed skin is what's painted. Does that answer your question, sir? All right, it's like a little hint, nudge kind of thing, right? What else you got?
For our HGH, how do we attach this stuff to this type of
You
ACH?
got a band.
You can use the cat eye band. It's the most common way. There will also be tape at each station. Just slap a piece of tape on it.
Anything else? What's up?
You said we're allowed to